If you are a long COVID patient, you haven't been diagnosed yet in terms of what complications you've got, or possibly whether you've got post-COVID ME/C.F.S, this video is for you. I have ME myself. I've also got long COVID. I've got the complications with my heart, all sorts of things going on. So I know what it's like. I am an ME advocate. I do own an online training platform about ME/C.F.S. This video is for long COVIDs. As you can tell, I'm breathless. I'm also standing up, so I feel like I'm going to wilt. I have just had my respiratory consultant appointment this week. That consultant has recommended that I increase my aerobic activity to get my heart pumping, to counteract the amount of time that I spent in quarantine not doing much 6 months ago. I've got really bad brain fog anyway with my ME, but long COVID has made that 10 times worse. ME brain fog is bad enough, and now this added long COVID brain fog has just set my brain doolally. But I knew as an ME advocate that increasing my exercise will potentially harm my ME. Now, the consultant knows that I've got ME. We had that conversation during my appointment. I didn't flag it with my consultant at the time because of my brain fog, and to be honest, I was kind of off duty and I wanted to just be a patient. I wanted to hear what she was going to recommend to me. However, since the appointment, I've been thinking, and very fortunately for the ME community, we have physios for ME. I'm going to tag them to this post. I raised my concerns with physios for ME, and what they said was, in theory, for long COVID patients who do not have ME/C.F.S, who do not have post-exertion malaise, what they're asking you to do is good. It's good advice. However, they have not considered ME in their medical advice. What I need to make clear to long COVIDs is only about 5% of medical students worldwide receive training on ME or ME/C.F.S. Many, the majority of medical professionals believe ME/C.F.S to be a psychological condition. So of course, they will not think that recommending exercise will cause you harm. They're not doing it intentionally. It's because they simply do not know enough about ME/C.F.S. So what I would say to any long COVID who does a bit of activity and then feels all of their symptoms flare to the point where they literally cannot function, I would put a little bit of a caution in the back of your mind when you go and see any of your consultants if they recommend you increase your aerobic activity, because they simply do not understand ME/C.F.S. Now, as an advocate, I can't stand the term CFS because it focuses on fatigue. Post-exertion malaise isn't fatigue. If you feel a bit tired after activity, doesn't mean you have ME/C.F.S. It means that, you've just exerted yourself and it's just brought about fatigue. But if all of your symptoms flare and you literally feel like you cannot function, there is a chance that you will go on to develop ME/C.F.S in future. So any recommendation that you exercise should be taken with a pinch of salt. What I would encourage any long COVIDs to do who have that caution in the back of their mind and they're thinking, I think this might turn into ME/C.F.S, please contact physios for ME. They are volunteers and it might take them a while to get back to you, but they are the only specialist physio people who are very knowledgeable about ME/C.F.S. So please, please, please contact them. Do not take your consultant's advice, well-meaning advice, on face value without double checking it. As an ME patient of 14 years, I know I have to double check every single piece of advice I get from a non-ME aware person to make sure it's not going to make my ME worse. I will not be increasing my aerobic activity. One, because of my ME, but two, also, she's told me to increase my activity, but also said I'm going to be investigated for clots on my lungs and heart problems. That doesn't make any sense to me. So pottering around my house is going to be my limit. I'm putting my ME first because I have got existing ME with complications in my heart and my lungs. But if I overexert myself, my ME will significantly flare. And I'm not prepared to be house or bed bound because a consultant was considering my long COVID ahead of my ME. So please do contact physios for ME if you are told to increase your activity and if you believe you may be en route to developing ME/C.F.S, because many long COVIDs won't, to make that clear. Many of you won't, but maybe 10%, 5% of long COVIDs will develop ME/C.F.S. So we need to err on the side of caution and make sure everyone's aware. Activity is a no-no when you have ME/C.F.S. We're basically allergic to exercise. Our bodies do not create or use energy effectively. If we do aerobic exercise, it has significant impact on our bodies in a negative way, not in a positive way. So yeah, please do listen to that advice. I'm genuinely worried that as people are now going to consultants in respiratory who haven't had training on ME/C.F.S, won't know that exercise is a bad thing for ME, they're going to be causing more harm than good. So please take my comments on board, take care of yourselves and contact physios for ME if necessary. Thank you.